Hello, guys. Welcome to day 5th of May, 2024. In today's episode, we're going to talk about my story with using writing prompts, how they've helped me started, and why I think you should consider using them too, because they will change your writing. I do believe that. Yeah. One of the problems as writers is that we want to write, we see to write, but then it's overwhelming because with writer, you can do anything. You can write literary anything. You can create literary anything. And that itself, it's beautiful. That itself is awesome. That itself is wonderful. But then it's overwhelming because you're just starting out. You just don't know what to start with. Like, what should I? There are various voices in your head, and one is like, okay, this, and sometimes it's like you have so much that you just go blank. It's more like I give you a check and like writing the amount, and you're like, what should I write? I just told you any amount. No, 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 but seriously, what should I write? I told you any amount. Like, dude, you gotta help me here. You gotta give me something, give me an idea, give me a guide on what I should write. It's a check, right? Any amount, whatever you want, dude. That's too much, man. You gotta help me here. Help a brother out. And the whole idea, it's simple for me. I was like, okay, now that I've been doing this daily kind of daily, but the 100 microfiction challenge. I said first for the first 4 days I was writing. The first 3 days I was writing. I was just writing. I was just come out, just typing stuff and writing. Later on, I was like, whoa! I remember that I had written a blog post on 100 word story prompts, and it was on my website. So I went back to my website and I put a link to the blog post and I checked it out and I was like, wow, this is really, really interesting. I saw some of the prompts and there's this oddly odd, I won't say odd, but there's this unique familiarity you have when you come across your own ideas. It's just different rather than someone's idea that you have to get yourself used to it. And so with seeing those prompts, certain concepts and certain ideas were entering my mind. And one of the concepts that was entering my mind was I should do more of idea captures because those were the things like I sat down and like captured some ideas and then I posted it on my website. I should do more of idea captures because with idea captures, you kind of separate thinking of what to write from writing it itself. Yeah. Because when you've thought about it, like so for example, every day you just on a challenge to spend 2 to 3 minutes capturing some interesting ideas you want to write about, and you just capture them. Talk some of like the framework. You talk about the plots, this and all that, and you just put them there. You have an organized system. Yeah, you could use Notion, but I'm just getting started with Notion. So maybe later on in the future I'll do a tutorial. But you have an idea system where you capture those. It's easy to access. You can move across, you can organize, you can filter based on different criteria. You can filter poetry, notion. Like depending on the type of writing you do, like it will be so easy for you that because usually we capture ideas, we write ideas then, but then finding those ideas is really hard. That like it's even better to just come up with a new idea. And when the pressure is not on you to write at that moment when you're capturing the idea, there's a different feeling. It's coming up with the idea. You're just free. Yeah. And you kind of put on your best in capturing the idea and writing the idea down. And then on different day you write. And even though it might be 1 month, 2 months, when you come across the idea, because you spend time creating that idea, it's just different. There's a way your writing just starts flowing. It's as if the idea was in you, in your subconscious. And then ideas, you just start writing and you're like, wow, that's interesting. And using the writing prompts serves as a guide. And then you're also writing exercise. So basically, that's what I've been doing. I've been going to my website and taking the prompts and I've been using them. So what I want to do is lean more into those prompts, and I'll put a link in the show notes into those prompts. So you can go to buildwriting.com, 100 word story prompts. Yeah. I'm leaning more into those prompts. And one of the prompts I came across was write a story about 5 minutes or the most chaotic 5 minutes of your character's life. Or if it's nonfiction, you can also take an idea of your life. What's like, let's say the past week. What was can you write about 5 minutes of the most chaotic the 5 minutes of the most chaotic parts of your life in 1 week? Or you're like, oh, my life is really boring. Nothing really chaotic really happened. Okay, really? Then you have a perfect life. But then you could So what would be the most chaotic thing that could happen to a person in 5 minutes? Like what would be the most chaotic thing that could happen to him in 5 minutes? And then you start thinking of that's where fiction ideas usually come up from. And then you start writing and say, what could go wrong? How does it surmount or not surmount? How, in 5 minutes, and then for 200, 300 words, you've written that. Yet it's really it works from literally any scenario. You can just change and swap the character, change the setting, change everything. But the idea that it's 5 minutes, a lot can happen in 5 minutes. But then it gives you a time frame that you can work with and create a story without having to summarize the story. Yeah, and writing microfiction has really, really been interesting. Using Notion to write it has been interesting because I'm seeing my progress, and maybe I'll make an episode on the addiction of progress because progress is really oddly satisfying. Yeah, it's oddly satisfying. It's wonderful. Yeah, to make progress because that's why one of the problem why it's hard to start as a writer is because when you start out you have nothing, and so you have nothing to show that you are a writer. But then once you start writing, you write for 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, 10 days. I'm not going to 5, 10 days, but today is the 5th day. Yeah, if we're not counting the other ones I did on the Google Docs. But today is the 5th day. Yeah, which when I look back, I see some days I write more than two microfiction, depending on how I'm feeling. But the minimum is one, and I see more than five microfiction. I'm like, wow, I'm a writer. I'm a microfiction writer. Well, you're not going to say that I'm a great writer or I know what I'm doing, but at least I write, and that you cannot take from me. I write. Whether you argue it's yes or not, you can say I'm a bad writer, I'm a terrible writer, an unqualified writer, whatever adjective you want to use. At the end of the day, what I'm concerned with is the noun. I'm a writer. Yeah, but I would improve, and I know what I have in mind to improve towards. Yeah, but I'm still writer. That's the most important thing here. We'll optimize the adjectives later on, but let's first have the noun. You can't have an adjective without. What am I saying? What's the use of an adjective? Try putting I'm a great. Remove the noun and then I'm a great dash. It doesn't make sense. I'm great. Yeah. So that's the whole idea. So you should try using writing prompts. And with most people, the one of the fears they have with writing prompts is some writing prompts are very specific. Yeah. And that's not the kind of writing prompts I like using. I like writing prompts that is like, okay, puts you in a universe, guides you, not necessarily guide you, but it's like, okay, this is it. There are no rules, but this is it. You know? And it's more like you're in a battlefield, you want to fight, and then let's say you have two gladiators, and you're like, there are no rules, but you have to fight within this court. And you're like, okay, so it's happening in this court. It's not like they tell you that you have to fight within this court, but it's just stated there's protections and everything, and then you have to create something within that court. That's what writing prompts is like. Yes, I don't really want the writing prompt that it's so specific such that when 2 to 3 persons use the writing prompts, they end up coming up with the same story. No, I want writing prompts that when they create a story, you look at the story, look at the story, look at the story, look at the story, and you start wondering, you're like, and they tell you, is this same prompt that it came from? Like, nah, that's not possible. There's absolutely no similarity. I want a writing prompt that leans into your peculiarities, leans into your creativity. It's more like a spark for you. It's just fume, and then you start burning and start creating something. That's the kind of writing prompts I want. That's the kind of writing prompts I like. That's the writing prompts I use. And one of the key things I have told myself is that now I'm not overwhelmed when it comes to write. I just go to the website, I bookmark the pages, my blog, go to buildwriting.com. There's the 100 word um, story prompts. I just go there and I pick one and I write with it. Or you could do one every day to challenge yourself. I think it's more than 30 or so. And I just pick one and I write with it. Sometimes I have multiple stories on one prompt, and that's what I just do. And I write with it, and yeah. So because sometimes when you're doing a challenge and you're like, oh, what should I write today? Oh, what should I write today? Now you have to you're struggling with two things. You're like, what should I write? And um writing the actual writing itself. You don't want to be you want to reduce the things you're struggling with. Remove what you should write. Look for a list of prompts that you love that are you vetted, and you can go to my website and you realize that the prompts you there are not really the kind of prompts you like, and that's okay. Go look for other prompts you like, or do an idea capture system you get off your own prompts. I would probably go in depth, and I would on that on for that future episodes. And then you know that idea capture has been taken care of. You get if you journal, that's great because if what you do you write diary, that's great. You can go back to your diary and just pick up something and then write. And let's say you had the perfect day, what could have gone wrong? And then you write a microfiction about it. You grab the whole idea. But then now what you're just doing now is you're writing. Nobody's going to edit. Nobody's going to look at revision. We're just writing, and it makes our life really simple. Really simple. When we simplify things, it makes it really simple, and it removes the complexity that makes us overwhelmed and not even start in the first place. Yeah, that's what I want to talk about. The power of writing prompts. It helps you to get started. It guides you. It improves your writing in a lot of ways. Maybe in future episodes I'll share writing prompts that you could use and how I've been using them, and some of my writings that I have used with those writing prompts. I do hope you keep writing. For those of you that have been listening to my episode, I see you. I see you that you've been listening, and part of the reason why I've kept the promises, I've kept publishing this episode and publishing this podcast is because of you. I know that I've made a commitment. It doesn't really matter with two, 23, 4, 5 persons. It doesn't really matter. Of course, I want a lot of people to listen to me, but then I'm more like, if I make a commitment to one person, I should keep that promise. And I'm keeping that promise. Yeah, I'm keeping that promise. So this is the fifth day. I'm even surprised how have managed to get so far in 5 days in May. Well, it's not so much. We have 26 days left, and I do hope with writing I'll document more of it, and until next time, keep writing. You'll be listening to Yumi Chinua Konam from the Buildwriting podcast.